everyone, we are from Business Administration D Group 2. We will presentation about analytical exposition. And this is our members.
First thing about domestic violence is a form of domination by the reaction of one of those family members that can cause misery or suffering to the partner, both psychologically, and sexually. Domestic violence, it happens to every family relationship that do not have sufficient preparation in dealing with domestic life. So it triggers the emergency psychological pressure, which will then cause aggressive action. So young marriage is one of the triggering factors for domestic violence, like couple age 17 to 22 who decide to get married. Actually, they don't have good emotional stability.
Someone who gets married young doesn't yet have a mature mindset or mentality to live life in a household. This is because someone at a young age doesn't yet have a stable side, so that they will be prone misunderstanding, conflict, or poor communication with their partners. People who choose to marry young can also experience mental health problems. This is due to their psychological unpreparedness, so that when they facing the world of marriage, they can experience mental health disorders. This factor is about mentality on their personal. It means someone who's still young still has unstable mentality, which means they are not ready to get married.
It is difficult to unite the mind because the emotional of the two is one of the triggers of domestic violence. Their emotions, which are unstable and difficult to control, are the leading cause of quarrels. The many differences of opinion and no sense of wanting to give up cause the two always to argue. They always want argument to be valid, regardless of the other side's view. High egos and do not want to understand each other also trigger domestic conflict. In argument 2, it explains one of the factors that can cause domestic quarrels, namely unstable emotions. If they can control their emotions and ego, it can trigger conflict in the household. And if this conflict continues, it will inevitably start domestic violence.
On the other hand, financial readiness is an essential factor in the family. Poor finances can be a triggering factor for domestic violence. The existence of economic pressure that causes the necessities of life cannot be met, and worsening economic condition can trigger conflict that lead to domestic violence. This financial factor occurs because there is no readiness to work or have a career. Thus, the work done is still minimal and has not been able to produce financially stable enough to meet daily needs. This argument explains that finance is an important factor. Unstable finance will trigger domestic violence. Family finance that cannot meet the need will lead to conflict within the family.
Someone who married young doesn't yet have a mature mindset or mentality to live a married life. Couples who marry at young age don't yet have a mental stability, so they will be vulnerable to misunderstanding, conflict, or poor communication with their partners. Their emotions, which are still considered unstable and difficult to control, are the main cause of domestic violence. On the other hand, the financial readiness factor is an important factor in the family. Poor finance can be a triggering factor for domestic violence. The existence of economic pressure that causes the necessities of life cannot be met. The deteriorating economic condition can trigger that lead to domestic violence.